people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. Hello, you guys. My name is Danny, known as NK, and welcome back to Misunderstood. 6 girls, 1 house, 1 week. This is the story of how 6 girls met each other on the internet and spent a week in the Hamptons together. I promised you guys that we would do a debrief, and here it is. Before we get started, please take some time right now to rate Misunderstood, this podcast, 5 stars. I'm loving the viewership that we have on this podcast, as well as getting so many messages from you guys with your stories about the podcast, how they've impacted you. It really means a lot. And to show your support in a free and easy way, please take some time to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Thank you so much. There's so much to unpack about the trip. I did take some notes, but for the most part, we are going to freestyle it. We are going to hear from the girls of Summer House IRL. I realize this is my very first episode with other people on the mic in addition to me, which I think is a fun way to add some variety to the podcast. But before we get into that, I wanted to give my own thoughts, feelings, dissertation about the week in the Hamptons. I also want to mention I had this trip coming off of a few other things in my life, lots of transition in my life. So I was coming into the trip in a little clouded mindset. I won't even lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was happy-go-lucky from the get-go. I was dealing with some things. And here's the thing, life, we are dealing with a ton of things, but it is about how we move through situations, and it is about how we move through life that really shows us who we are and shows us what we can handle. This episode will apply to you if you've ever wanted to take a chance with meeting new people, going on a trip with girls you have never met, getting some inspiration on a fun destination you may have never been, or even if you have been to the Hamptons, this may just be a fun story time about how 6 girls took a chance and stayed in a beautiful house for 1 week in the Hamptons. Let's start with our itinerary. Our itinerary was quite packed. We had 7 full days there, so there was so much to do. Also, if you are brand new here, you should definitely go listen to episode 29 titled Your Summer Should Be Fun, How to Plan a Successful Hamptons trip. This will give you a little interlude to what we're talking about here so that it doesn't come at a surprise. However, if you do just want to sit and listen to this one, go ahead. Episode 29 does introduce Summer House IRL, which is what we are doing here today. So just a little recap. Summer House IRL is a term that I coined going off of the Summer House TV show that's on Bravo. I am hooked. I've watched all 9 seasons and I cannot wait for season 10 to come out next year. I actually got to meet some of the Summer House cast in the Hamptons a few months ago. So I am locked in, and this whole idea came from me loving the show and wanting to have my own spin on the show. Bringing together people who don't know each other, sharing space in a house for an extended period of time. In the show, if you are familiar, they spend a whole summer in the house. However, they're only in the house during the weekends, and they commute from New York City to the Hamptons every weekend from June to the end of August. I knew that I wanted an extended period of time in the Hamptons. I have done weekenders, I've done day trips. I wanted to do a full-on week in the Hamptons, which is a very big feat. I am so aware, but I knew that I had it in me, and I knew that if I put it out there in the universe, other people will buy into the journey, which is where the 5 other girls come into play. Faye, Elizabeth, Taylor, Anna, and Paige. These are the girls who said yes to this experience, and from there, Summer House IRL was officially greenlit. I picked everybody in June, so we had a full 2 months to plan and coordinate and get this from an idea to execution. Throughout the summer, I gave everybody a different task so that it felt like we were all doing something in regards to the trip to get prepared for it. We also all put our heads together and brainstormed what exactly do we want our week to look like. Our week could have looked so many different ways, but we wanted to make our week as well-rounded as possible. There were some girls who had never been to the Hamptons. There are some girls who are veterans of the Hamptons. So we had a mixed bag of the experiences that people have already had in the Hamptons. So we wanted to get some variety as well as do some really fun, favorite, iconic things that everyone talks about when they go to the Hamptons. So let's just run through the week, shall we? Monday, we got to our Airbnb around 4 p.m. Our Airbnb was huge, 5 bedrooms, 2 kitchens. There was a main part of the house, the main floor, and then there was a basement floor, which honestly was almost equally as big as the main floor. There was an outdoor shower. The yard was probably our favorite part of the entire house. We were all just sprawled out in different areas. There was a tire swing, there was a hammock, there were longboards, there was a fire pit, a huge dining table that we went to eat at every single day. It was glorious. I felt like I was actually touching grass, getting outside the city, literally laying on grass, which was what I did when I grew up in Federal Way, Washington. And it's just so nice to connect to that part of myself again, because we often get lost in the hustle and bustle and literal chaos of the city that we forget our roots. So being back in a beautiful house with a true yard, with grass, with fresh air, and no taxis and traffic felt so peaceful. We were staying in Sag Harbor, and Sag Harbor is now one of my favorite spots in the Hamptons. I had never been to Sag Harbor prior to booking the house for our trip. I had heard really good things about Sag Harbor, and it is a quieter, more quaint spot of the Hamptons, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed that we stayed there because we were able to bop around to the other parts of the Hamptons, but have this really serene, beautiful area to come home to every single day. A little plug, I did vlog the entire week for YouTube, so another reminder to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. By the time this podcast episode goes up, my vlog of the week in the Hamptons will already be live. This will be a great additional visual for you guys to view along with listening to this episode, and I will link the Airbnb in the description of the YouTube vlog. All right, so we picked our rooms, we got settled. We also received a ton of PR packages throughout the week from brands, so I will shout some of them out. Hampton Water, Celsius, Bluebird, Hardwater. We also got to partner with TripAdvisor for a very fun excursion, which I will talk about in a second. But for Monday night, we decided to keep it local and go to a dinner spot in Sag Harbor. We went to Sag Harbor Tavern. This place is so beautiful. And we really learned about this place because Bethany Frankel stated that this burger is the best burger she had ever had. So we had to get the burger, and it was very good. We also befriended our waiter, Will, shout out. He was so nice. He got us all free shots. He helped us with recommendations with where to go after dinner. He was really invested in our story of how we all met. We learned about Murph's from Will. Murph's is a local bar in Sag Harbor. It is truly the definition of a local bar. It is no frills, pretty divey. It has an outdoor area, which we really enjoyed. We went to Murph's 2 different times throughout the week. We just had to go back. We had so much fun the first time, so we said, let's go back. And even on a Monday, it was poppin'. So you already know that you're bound to have a good time at a bar like that. They also had this fun ring game. It was so basic, the most basic thing. However, stuff like that is so fun at a bar like that. And that is truly a if you know, you know situation. Tuesday's highlights, we went to the Vivrel store. I've mentioned this on past YouTube vlogs. The Vivrel store is absolutely stunning. They have one in the city, and they just opened one in Bridgehampton. So me and a few of the girls went to the store. I picked up the most beautiful Chanel ever. Again, the visual will be on YouTube. Absolutely stunning. So just a little rundown. If you don't know about Vivrel, it is a luxury luxury handbag rental service, and you can choose to purchase the bag, which will be at a discount if you want to keep the bag, but it is a monthly membership. I've been working with Viveril for 3 years. I'm so thankful because I love luxury bags. And one day, well, I actually do own one luxury bag. It is my Louis Vuitton Neverfull, which I got in Paris, but I love Chanel, and that is still a goal of mine to buy myself a Chanel bag. Until then, I will happily rent Chanel bags from Viveril. We grabbed some coffee. Shout out to Golden Pear Cafe. I mentioned this in episode 29. That is one of my favorite matchas I've ever had, was from Golden Pear. We did get that a few times throughout the week, but then we also went to Sagtown Coffee, which is in Sag Harbor. I had never heard about it, but it was poppin'. Every single time we had walked by, driven by, it was poppin'. I went to get a matcha there. It was so good. It definitely rivaled Golden Pear. So much that I got it on the way back to the city. Absolutely recommend my order if anyone is curious. It is a iced vanilla matcha with whole milk. Later that evening, we picked up pizza and went over to my favorite beach, Cooper's Beach, the most beautiful beach, and apparently it is voted the #1 beach in America. Someone can go fact check that, but there was literally a sign that said it at the beach. I had heard about this place for years and years, and I went in 2023 and 2024. So it's now becoming a tradition to go to Cooper's Beach. We spent a really, really nice evening there on the beach, saw the sunset. We were taking content, we were drinking some wine, had our pizza. The birds were encroaching on us, however, so keep that in mind if you are at that beach. But other than that, a lovely experience overall. Wednesday highlights, we went to Cowfish. Cowfish is in Hampton Bays. Had been to Cowfish in 2023. It is a stunning indoor-outdoor restaurant and bar. They have fun little games outside. They have this huge, gigantic chair for a photo op. You're right by the boats. You can even take a little water taxi from Cowfish to this bar called Rumba and back. Their clam chowder is very, very good. I had the clam chowder this past week and I loved it. I loved it so, so much. I will have to go back and get that specifically. This is where I had my very first lobster roll in 2023 and I didn't love it, but they redeemed themselves with their clam chowder. And then Wednesday evening, we had our boat day sponsored by TripAdvisor. Shout out to TripAdvisor. They were so great with coordinating everything. So we had a 2-hour boat ride from the Sag Harbor Marina. We went to Yacht Hampton Boating Club and they were amazing. They made it super seamless and we had a really fun captain. Brought Hampton water on our boat. We brought some snacks. And honestly, 2 hours flew by. I wish we had a longer boat ride, but nevertheless, the 2 hours literally flew by. We had so much fun. We were listening to music. We were sipping our wine. We were taking photos. We were having so much fun. That was definitely such a highlight of the entire trip. Thursday's highlights, we went to Round Swamp Farm, which I had been dying to go. This is the most expensive grocery store in the Hamptons. I have heard so much about certain items in that store that I had to see it for myself. One of them were the chicken tenders. The other were the cookies, the chicken salad. There were a lot of different items that I wanted to try for myself. We actually did a full-on food haul and rating that is up on my TikTok. We spent $176 on probably 8 shared items, which yes, that is a lot of money. What I already knew going into the week is the Hamptons is very, very expensive. That is not a secret. I was very much willing to lean into the experience. I'm very much an experiential person. I actually talked about that with the girls where we were sharing that we would rather pay for experiences than material things. So honestly, money will come back. Time won't. Spend the money if you want to. Later that day, we attempted to go to Surf Lodge. I had tickets for us. They were free tickets, by the way. I had tickets for Surf Lodge for 5 p.m. And we got there probably at 5:05. They told us that it was closed for a private event. That is on them for not updating their website to let people know that there was a private event because I literally had the tickets in my hand. Nevertheless, we pivoted to going to Crow's Nest, which is one of my favorite places I've ever been. This is in Montauk as well. Surf Lodge is in Montauk, if you're unaware. Crow's Nest is so gorgeous. It is a beautiful restaurant, but I believe that the main appeal is there's a hill that goes down to the water and it's perfect for photos. There's also a bar down there to get drinks. Their watermelon cooler, which is a tequila watermelon drink, is the drink that they're known for. So we all got a round of that. We took pictures. We just chit-chatted, relaxed, and enjoyed the surroundings. After that, I took the girls to Marlena's Yacht Club. I had heard about this on TikTok. This is also a local spot, and I heard that they are known for mudslides. I have never had a mudslide. And a mudslide is a bunch of different alcoholic items in one. But the kicker is that it is in milkshake form, which I will always say yes to. It was so strong. It was so strong. You literally only need one. If you have two, you would probably be super drunk. I had one and I was like, all right, I am a one and done kind of girl. It was very tasty. I would get it again, but like I said, I would only get one. And we were right by the water as well. And right when we walked outside after we were done in Marlena's, it was the most beautiful cotton candy skies. It felt like a storybook, definitely a core memory. After that, we went to Rushmeyer's, which is also in Montauk. I had heard about this place from Summer House. They featured it on the show. They all went there one day and I had to see it for myself. We had dinner there and then it turns into a nightclub. So we stayed for the nightclub portion. We met a lot of different characters that night, let me tell you. But all in all, it was fun. Would I go again? Possibly, but it definitely wasn't my favorite part of the trip. I also have to say, I learned very quickly about myself that as much as I want to really lean into being an extrovert, I really am an introvert at my core, and I need to allow myself to be okay with that and not force myself to be more than what I'm capable of. I will explain. More than half of the nights that we were there, I felt myself so tired. And when I'm super tired, I feel like I'm not super lively or talkative, which that's not a problem. It's just, I think I was definitely forcing myself to be a level 10 and I wasn't. So I felt like I was crashing internally. Even at Rushmeyer's, when we were outside just having our drinks by the fire pits, I was sleeping. My eyes were closed. And I was like, all right, NK, you really have to listen to yourself and you really have to just let yourself rest. If you need to go home, it's okay. Go home. I have this thing about FOMO as well. And I know a lot of people have issues with FOMO, which is fear of missing out. If you don't know, I do have this intense fear of missing out on things, missing out on experiences, and not being able to forge connections with other people. So that's where a lot of my anxiety actually came in from the trip, which we will talk about in a second. All right, Friday, we woke up and said we're going to the beach. But before the beach, we went to Tate's Bake Shop. You probably know Tate's. You've probably seen them at your local grocery store, but it is the forest green packaging. It says Tate's, and they are born and raised in Southampton. So we got to go to the original store, which was really cute to see. I didn't end up getting any cookies. I just got a matcha, but some of the girls got their cookies and some tote bags and merch. Then we drove over to Cooper's Beach once again and had probably a 2.5 hour beach day. I actually got into the water, but the water won and I lost. I lost my sunglasses. They were cheap, don't worry. The waves were so strong. They were actually really scary. And you guys know, I've said this before, I am very afraid of deep water. You will never catch me in deep water, literally ever. And I wasn't even in the deep part. I was literally at the shore, but the waves were so strong. They were pushing me every which way. But the water did feel nice. The water was like 71 degrees. So the water felt nice. The waves were just so intense that day. After the beach, we went back to our house and had some moments of calm. And during that portion of calm before we went back out for the evening, that's when I really noticed within myself that I crave pockets of time where I can be alone. Obviously, on a trip with a bunch of girls for an extended period of time, there's not a ton of time that I can be alone, which I already knew going into it, which I think that is where a lot of my anxiety came from, because I know myself well enough to know what I need in terms of recharging and my social battery. But those few hours between the beach and when we got ready for dinner were really nice for me to just honestly lock myself in my room and recharge. And recharging is good. Recharging is not a negative thing. We all have our capacities and our thresholds. And this trip taught me a lot about my capacity and my threshold for being around other people, being engaging, but also being able to have fun and really send it. So Friday evening, we got ready and we went to Ketchy Beach. So Ketchy Beach is in Southampton. I mentioned this on episode 29. I had heard a lot of amazing things about it. So again, I had to see it for myself. Once we got to dinner, let's first start off with the positives. The food itself was very, very good. That was the best rigatoni I've ever had in my life. The truffle fries still live in my head rent free. And the drink I had was fantastic. It was a mezcal pineapple drink. Don't know what it's called, but it was very good. But other than the food, we weren't having the best experience. First off, where we were seated was really tucked away. I don't know the logistics of how they place tables, obviously, but we weren't loving where we were seated, and it was so hot outside. There was absolutely no AC. That one wasn't a huge deal, but just something of note while we're just talking about everything. But the biggest negative that we had unfortunately experienced at Ketchy Beach was with the manager. She seemed like the manager. I did not fully confirm that, but she was the one who was ordering literally everyone around, all the security guards, all the patrons. So she was a supervisor to some degree. We were told by the waiters that we had to go outside to get a wristband to then come back in for the night portion, because apparently the nightclub portion and the dinner portion are completely separate. It's strange because no one let us know that when we were booking our reservation. But here we are. We had just paid almost $500 for dinner split between all of us. Then we got up and walked outside. But before that, I told the waitress, she was very, very nice. I told her, hey, I have this $25 drink sitting in front of me. I am not chugging it. There's no reason why I should be chugging it. We will go outside and get our wristbands and we'll come right back inside, and I would like to still have my drink. You guys can just watch the drink. She said, yes, no problem. Go get your wristband. I'll see you guys soon. So now we're at the front of Ketchy Beach, and this is when we encounter the said manager. I explained the situation. I explained that we were just outside dining and we were told to come out to get a wristband to go back in. She had said that we had to pay for a table in order to go back in. Mind you, we had just dropped almost $500 at the establishment for dinner. I also have to say, this woman was so emotionless. She really didn't care, and she wasn't empathetic at all, which is unfortunate to have someone in her position acting this way. It is not a good look. I expressed to her, I have my drink sitting on the table that I was told that I can come back and get. So I'm going to go speak to the waitress who I spoke to. She let me in. I went in there. I talked to the waitress. I explained the situation. I explained how frustrated we were as a whole party to have experienced this. She went outside and grabbed the rest of the party. I learned from the other girls that they encountered their own unfortunate experiences while I was inside talking to the waitress. Long story short, none of that had to happen. Truly, none of that had to happen. And our waitress was so kind and wanted to try to rectify the situation. So she brought us all free shots, which was very, very kind. Will I be going back to Ketchy Beach? No. Unless I am invited by a brand, I will not be dining there again. I don't appreciate how a management can treat patrons like that, with no alternatives, with no real empathy towards the situation at hand. So it is unfortunate that we experienced this, but the food was great, but that's all I could really say about the establishment in a positive way. And after Ketchy Beach, we decided that we needed to turn the night around. So a few of us went to Southampton Social, which I had been to before, and that is actually where I saw the Summer House cast filming the TV show back in May. So we went there. That was the highlight of the entire trip in terms of the nights out for me specifically. I had so much fun. I peaked. I had the best time, and I also absolutely sent it. That was the most I've drank in a very long time, but again, I don't regret it. I had an amazing time. I met a lot of nice people. I talked to a cute boy, got his number. 10 out of 10 experience for me. Saturday, I woke up a little on the struggle bus, but we are finishing what we started. We went to a winery, Wolfer Vineyards. I had heard about this place. I had to see it for myself, which is honestly the trend of most things I'm saying. I have heard about it and I want to see it because we're here for a week and we have so many opportunities to do so many things. We all got dressed and went over to the vineyard. This was in Sagaponack, which is pretty close to Southampton. We had an 11:15 reservation. We got there right on time. We took photos. We got seated. We all got a wine flight. Their Summer in the Bottle is their best seller, and it was very, very good. The tasting comes with 4 wines to try, and the Around the World flight definitely has the most variety, which is why I wanted to get that one. All of them were very good. I would definitely go back there. The vineyard was so beautiful. It reminds me of Napa. If you remember, I spent 10 years in California, in San Francisco, and I would go to Napa all the time. And I really do miss the energy of a vineyard and being around very elevated wines and getting to taste them and having that whole experience is so lovely. Absolutely enjoyed Wolfer and I highly recommend. I also recommend doing a morning reservation. It was very, very empty and we were able to just take our time with photos, videos, and stuff like that. And we really just kept on saying yes to adventure and new experiences because very shortly after we decided to go to Montauk to go to a day party at Montauk Beach House. I've been there before. I got to see snake hips and that was so much fun. So I was very much excited to go back. I don't even know the DJ's name. I think his name was Alex. Don't quote me on it, but he was an amazing DJ. He was very, very, very talented, I will say. Truly got the people going. We got there at 4. We stayed till it wrapped at 6. So we had 2 hours to vibe out, meet again, so many people. The theme of the trip was we met at least one new person every single day. And we have a story related to every single person that we met. But we had so much fun. It was such perfect weather. I really, really enjoyed the day party. We got back, got dressed quickly, and headed over to dinner at Calissa. Calissa is in Southampton. This is a Greek restaurant. Their logo symbol on literally everything is the evil eye, which I absolutely love. I very much believe in the evil eye. First off, the restaurant was absolutely gorgeous. So, so beautiful. The food was incredible. I have to say that was my second favorite dinner. It's almost tied for first. Honestly, it was so, so good. We got steak, we got chicken, we got calamari, we got a feta salad. We got a ton of things to share, which is my other recommendation. Just do tapa style for group dinners. It makes it so much easier so that everyone can try everything. And honestly, it ends up being cheaper because you're getting shareables instead of everyone getting an entree. Just a little hot tip because literally every single group meal we had, we did tapa style and it worked out so well. After we finished dinner, we decided to stay in Calissa because we heard that it turns into a nightclub. We didn't know when the party was getting started and some of the staff didn't know specifically when it was getting started, but we had some faith and we decided to just stay for 30-45 minutes and the music picked up. The DJ came in. There was a saxophonist. There were lights. There was a whole production, a whole party ensued and it was so much fun. However, I again felt in my body that I was crashing. I was crashing early on and I was trying to fight that feeling of being completely exhausted, but I couldn't fully fight it. I tried. I felt this internal battle of knowing that I was the lowest energy of the entire group, but trying my best. And I felt that. I felt this weird guilt around feeling tired when everybody was up and dancing and drinking and having a really good time. I felt shitty within myself, but I had to remember it's okay that I don't feel 100% right now. I had a big night the night before where I really expelled all of my social battery and I didn't have time to charge it that day. So it's just more of learning about myself and my thresholds and what I'm able to handle. But rating Calissa a 10 out of 10. It was a beautiful restaurant. The food was great. The drinks were great. And the party atmosphere was super fun. Sunday, our last full day, we started off with walking around Sag Harbor. I got to go into the Love Shack fancy store, which was so cute. We then drove to Montauk to go to Durier's. I've wanted to go to this restaurant for so long. I've heard so much about it. First off, the lobster cob salad, which is $100. Yes, you heard that right, $100. But I have to say it was actually worth the money. And it was split by 5, so okay, a $20 lobster salad, fine, I'll take it. It was incredibly fresh. I kind of dream about it. I kind of want it again. I wish they somehow had delivery. They don't. Whenever I'm back in Montauk, I must go get that salad again. The other thing they're known for is that they are literally on the water. These views are absolutely insane. The water was just glistening. It was a perfect sunny day. It felt so healing. And we also sat outside right by the boats. And so we were feeling the amazing breeze of the water teamed with our amazing spread. So along with the salad, we got calamari, we got chicken tenders and fries. I decided to get some wine because, hair of the dog. Overall, that lunch was fantastic. My favorite meal of the whole trip was Ketchy Beach. Tied for second is Calissa's and Durier's. And then after that, which truly seemed like the grand finale to wrap up this whole week, is we went to Surf Lodge. We got into Surf Lodge. That is right. We did it. And I hate hyping it up as much as I have been doing, but it's the whole societal BS of it all. On TikTok, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you can't get into Surf Lodge. They deny everyone, blah, blah, blah. Waka Flocka Flame got denied from Surf Lodge. Yes, look it up. And then we had the little fiasco on Thursday night where we were standing right in front of the building and we couldn't go in because there was a private event. So there was a lot going on in my mind. I had so much anxiety when we walked back up. Again, it felt like a walk of shame, and I hate that it felt like that, but it did. Once again, I had the tickets in my hand. I was ready. They were free tickets, by the way. I had them in my hand. I had my ID ready. I was ready. I was locked in. I walked up to the security guard. He asked for my ID, gave it to him, and we went right in. We got right in. I don't know why, but it felt like this big accomplishment, which is stupid because it is just a place, just a venue. It's not even special, but everyone makes it so. Regardless, we were in the building. Now I can say I have been to Surf Lodge. And I will also say, while in Surf Lodge, I unfortunately felt so anxious and borderline uncomfortable with the amount of people who would look you up and down and make you feel like you're not a person. That sucks. And yes, that did happen. So if you've never been to Surf Lodge, here I am to tell you, there's a lot of people who are pretentious as hell, stuck up as hell. However, we did encounter some sweet girls who were very, very nice, who helped us take photos, who were good, normal people. And I guess that's just life. You will literally meet both sides of the coin. But overall, will I go to Surf Lodge again? Yes, only if I'm invited by a brand. I will not pay to go in there. And I will only go at sunset hour because it was really, really pretty at sunset hour. We did make the most of our experience. We got some drinks. We vibed to the music. We still had a good time. Now I can really dispel the lore of Surf Lodge because I can now say that I went. When we got home, we decided to do some confessionals and debriefs to really round out our entire week, just to talk about our highs and lows, as well as really just decompress. We ended up watching The Parent Trap. That was so wholesome to round out our Sunday night in our cozy, big Hamptons house. And then Monday morning, we woke up, cleaned up the house, packed up, and we were on the road back to New York City. All right, now let's hear from the girls. I'm going to insert the clip of the conversation with me and the girls in our Hamptons house to debrief the week.
Hello, everybody. We are in our Hampton house. I want to go through and talk to you guys about how our week went, everyone to introduce themselves and share a few things, highlights of the week. So We'll start with Faye. Faye, please introduce yourself, name, age, where you're originally from, and what's your job?
Hi, everyone. My name is Faye Whitaker. I'm 36 years old. I'm originally from Manhattan, New York. And my job is founder of View Signature, which is a brand consultancy helping people with strategy for their business.
Amazing. Taylor.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor. I am 28 years old, originally from Nebraska. I do consider Austin, Texas, like a home of mine as well. And I live in Manhattan now. 9 to 5, I work in tech sales. I'm an account executive and I love posting fashion, lifestyle, all that stuff on TikTok.
Beautiful. Paige, go for it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paige. I'm from Minnesota, but I moved here about 5 years ago, and now I live in Tribeca. Currently, I just started a PR agency, and I also own a bikini brand
Called.
called PPP The Label.
Slay.
Iconic.
Hey everyone, I'm Anna. I'm originally from Texas. I'm 27. I just moved from Austin to Brooklyn and I do PR, which I love.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm 30 years old. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, still there today. And I am a mental health therapist. I own my own practice and also enjoy making therapeutic content on TikTok.
Amazing. So these are the girls of Summer House IRL. If you are new here, this started as a social experiment back in June where I posted on TikTok and it kind of went viral. A ton of people messaged me and I sifted through trying to find who would be a good fit for the house and really just lean into this very new experience that I've never experienced before. So very happy with the turnout and how it actually went, but let's dive in a little deeper. I want everyone to talk about their expectations going into the week versus the reality, if that differs. So we'll just start again with Faye.
My expectation, I was a little nervous because we've never met each other. And as much as you can have a Zoom call, once you get around different personalities, traveling together, living together, those are big things. So different personalities come out that you wouldn't necessarily get on a Zoom call. So I was a little anxious about that. But everyone has been so sweet and we really mesh well. So I'm very happy.
Sometimes when I put myself out there into like new experiences like this, like coming across NK's video on TikTok, messaging her and just being like, let's send it. Let's just like go to the Hamptons with a bunch of girls I've never met. I like to put myself in situations like that, but I think because of that, I can't give myself too many expectations because you just like never know how it's gonna go. I generally, like I loved everybody's content that I knew was going on the trip. And so I think like generally, like what do they say? Like high hopes, low expectations, or is it the opposite or something like that? Whatever the correct saying of that is, that's kind of how I like treated this. And generally I'm coming out feeling like I now understand everybody individually and really appreciate everybody individually. And I think we'll travel pretty well together.
All right, Paige, take it away.
All right. So I don't feel like I really had too many expectations going into this. I just wanted to go into it with a open heart and open mind and ready to meet new people. And I feel like it went so well and we had a blast. And I feel like I have 5 new besties.
I really have no thoughts, you guys. It's been a week.
One brain.
Half a brain cell. Yeah, I think this is not the first time I've traveled with people I don't know or like put myself in experiences like that. I love just chatting with people. I love meeting people. I think getting to do fun things out of the normal is just really rewarding and a good learning experience. For me, it's fun to hang out with girls and be around women who want to work on themselves and empower others and create amazing content because creating content for others, which is what I do with PR, is easy, but for doing it for myself is hard. And I feel like we've had so many really good conversations about that. And so I appreciate everybody.
So I was so anxious about this. I'm an anxious girly and I wanted to keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone, which is why I said, let's do it, let's send it. And I tried to reframe the anxiety for excitement and to view this as an opportunity to like grow and meet new important people and in our lives to become an important person. And I'm leaving this experience just like really proud of just like really trying to put myself out there and just really happy that I feel like as a group we meshed well, but also I felt like I had good time to connect with everybody and understand everybody. And I really, really am so excited to see everybody's projects that we were talking about. Like, I can't wait to see you guys grow and like just know like, oh, we were talking about that like in the car ride and now it's happening. Like little moments like that. I'm really excited. I'm really proud of all you ladies as well.
Same sentiment. All right, next, let us talk about our favorite activity of the week.
My Favorite activity was the boat. I love being on boats. I think it's so fun. It was really cute. The boat was blue. Shout out TripAdvisor. Yeah, seriously, the best part.
The boat was blue.
She's right. It was boy.
My favorite part was just filming TikToks with the girls before we go out. I'm a business owner, so learning to do the TikTok part is fun, and seeing everybody mesh together and give their ideas is very inspirational. So I like that.
This is like very niche, but I'm just like, it's coming back to me a moment. I felt like so much like joy. Me, Paige, and Anna were out grabbing some coffee for the girls early in the morning. We stopped into a couple different shops, and we heard when we were in a shop, someone was like, "Is that the cast of Summer House IRL?" And it was Faye, and it was just really funny. We were like out and about and stumbled into Faye. It was just like yeah, it was kind of like a moment where like that's something that like my close girlfriends that I've had for years would like say. So I just like that was like a really fun moment where it was like, oh, we're all just like vibing and getting along so well. It was just a really cute, sweet moment.
My favorite activity was probably the beach. I love just like being able to relax and then get thrown away by the waves and getting attacked by them. And then everyone was like kind of doing their own thing, like journaling, making content. So it was just so peaceful and I loved it.
My favorite activity are the debriefs of if we were like separated from each other, because when we're not a group, if one person is missing, like it really feels like it, and I need to know like what happened, what was your perspective, who did you meet, the side characters of the whole week. So I love a debrief. I love talking about the same thing over and over and making new jokes about it, and
Yes.
I love a debrief with these ladies.
The one that sticks out, Friday night, going to Southampton Social. I've been there before, and it was really fun to see people there who I had met, like the manager and everything. I was definitely very anxious throughout the week just because I wanted everything to go well. It's definitely different, a little bit different from my POV because I organized it, but I wanted to let loose and like have fun. That was the peak of my fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Shout out to peppuccino martinis.
They're so good. Everyone needs one.
That night was so fun.
Yeah.
NK, yeah, worst, best behavior ever. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Speaking of funny stories, let's all talk about the funniest thing we can think of from this week. Oh, yeah. Actually, okay. So Anna made a fun little list of characters. So we'll just let her read that off and say whatever she wants.
There's so many, you guys, there's so many names on here. I think my favorite parts were just the people, honestly. So many side characters that made the night better.
Go for
I
it.
mean, I can list them off. There's a million.
I think he's number one on the list because he was like our first bestie made was we went out to Sag Harbor Tavern and we made besties with the waiter Will, and then he was just like giving us the tea of like the night and what was going on, and maybe an ambulance was called, I don't know. That was nice. That I felt like he was like, oh, okay, this is a fun group. We like to banter, we like to make friends. That's like what I learned from that. So I think that was like my favorite one.
Beautiful.
I think my funniest moment was we're a bunch of clumsy girls. I did take the first tumble of the group when we literally got to our Airbnb, tripped over suitcases, like ate shit. Sorry if I can't curse on that. And then Anna and Elizabeth really took several tumbles for the team. I don't think anybody else is really clumsy, but the trip is not over yet. Not that I'm wishing clumsiness.
Not something.
But yeah, I think funny moments were just like we fell so many times. I don't even know how to explain it other than that.
It's so funny, but I keep getting out of the car and leaving Elizabeth in the back, and I'm so sorry. I have terrible short-term memory. I told the girls to have alarms for everything. I would have had to set an alarm, say, Elizabeth's in the back, open the door, like it's really bad. I'm so sorry.
Good girl, we figured it out. Just banged on the window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so hard to just pick one. I feel like I was laughing the entire week. But yesterday we were at Palma Day Club and this really gorgeous girl like came up to us and we were just talking to her for a little bit and we were like explaining this whole situation and like all of us were strangers and we got a house together, whatever. She's like, it's like Summer House. And we're like, yeah. And then she just like randomly grabbed my phone and like did a confessional randomly like on my phone. And I just thought it was hilarious.
Let's see. Okay. I personally think every time Anna made a new friend, which was every day, it was just so fun to just see her blossom. I mean, like she's such a personality. Just my POV of seeing someone like that. So I asked them all in the emails before picking everybody, what's your level of extroversion or whatever, 1 through 10. And I think everyone answered pretty high. I'm going into this like knowing most people here are extroverts. I've learned like I'm definitely not as extroverted as everyone, which is fine. But I just really appreciated seeing Anna running around, getting on the Palma Date Club stage. That is amazing. Wish I was more like that, but I really appreciate seeing it, and it was just so funny. And then I thought it would be fun because we talked about this last night about mannerisms. When you're around people for an extended period of time, you will see mannerisms in them. I actually want to start because Elizabeth's little, like, she does this, like, all the time.
I've never done it before. I just this here, girlies. I'll bring it home. I'll bring it home.
It's like, it was just such a cute thing that I just never see. So I just had to, I will remember that forever.
I just like, because like sometimes, we're in a busy, loud bar and I want you to know that I see you. I love you. Checking in.
Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, so everyone had their own room except Paige and I. We had to share bunk beds, which was really fun. And every morning she would tell me hello in with an accent, and it just became It just became like the thing. And the one day she didn't do it, I was like, "What happened? Do you not want me to have a good day?"
Hello.
So I just thought that was so thanks for sharing a room with me.
We had a blast in there. Mannerisms. I don't know if this counts, but I loved that whenever we were out, Elizabeth would like take care of us. Like if there's a creepy guy like attached to her hip, she would like go in and start dancing and like remove him from the situation, which was great.
A little bumped out of the way.
Yeah,
You're fine.
100%.
That's my favorite job too.
Actually, also shout out Elizabeth because I like to disappear.
Oh, yeah.
I will leave. I will run. I will always come back. But I do like to bop around, and I would turn around. Elizabeth was like, "Eyes on you." Like I just want to make sure, and I really appreciate that because I'm like, "Thank you so much." Like sometimes I do run. So
As long as you're in eyesight, you're fine, But no one gets left behind. Not on my watch.
Yes. Taylor, you're very cutesy. Like you remind me of Alexis from Schitt's Creek. Like she does the little like.
You're so right about that. Babe.
I love that you say that, Faye, because literally my TikTok handle is a little bit of Taylor based off of Alexis. My heart.
now that you say it, I can't.
And everybody better love her. I will be so upset. I know she has a big personality, but I love her.
Amazing. Did everyone go?
I was.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I did, but I feel like Faye, you just have like a warm presence. Like I will look over and Faye is just like smiling and like checking in, or you take a picture and she's like, "You look beautiful." She's giving direction. She's like, "Here's an idea." And then with NK, like I think I started copying you because you were like, "What's your vision? What are you thinking?" Like you make like a video, which I think is such a good question because that's like usually I'm like, I don't know. That's a good point. I should think about that. So you like steer like, well, maybe try this. Like, what was your vision? And we can make that happen. So that I really appreciate too.
Yay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think I love when Anna is always just like, "You do you, girl."
Yeah.
That is like
Go.
it's famous.
Oh, yeah.
Phrase.
Catchphrase. Okay, that.
You do you, girl.
What did you say? Oh, tell me. No, tell me. Give everybody goals for the night. Hey, ladies, what were your goals and did you complete them?
Start NK.
Okay, my first goal, or did I have the same? Okay, the goal I remember was getting a guy's number, and I did at Southampton Social. He was from Maine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Actually, yeah, we would go out and we would give each other like little challenges. And I do appreciate that. I thought that was fun and like kind of got the party like, did you do your challenge? Like, I see you doing your challenge. So I think we all completed it most nights. And now that I'm saying that, I remember eating a lemon last night.
Yeah. I did dare Anna
Wait
to
a
eat a
minute.
lemon. Yeah. What was the Callista?
Lissa.
They decorate. They're like, I don't know. What do we think? Like thousands of lemons in that place? Lemons all around. Dared Anna to eat a lemon, and she did. So
What about the prank?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
All I know is, also I have the smallest purse in the world. I love it.
It's so
this
cute.
big.
So
Totally
cute.
sweetie. You guys, I am like looking at my purse and there's just a lemon in there. And Paige is like, "I pranked you."
It was the worst prank ever.
I was like,
Got her.
there was a guy next to me and he's just like, and I just put it back. I actually slept with it. I missed our cuddle, so I just slept with it. I was like,
Keep that lemon forever.
but that was so fun. And then, yeah, I think everyone completed theirs. It was everything from getting numbers to shots to dancing on tables to requesting songs from the DJ. We did it.
Elizabeth said I should chat up a cute guy, and I tried to on the bathroom line. I was like, "That's the men's room. You can use that one." And he was like, "Oh, thanks." I was like, "Oh, is this your first time here?" He was like, "Yeah." And then he went back to his phone. I was like, "Ooh." That
It's not you, it's
with his girlfriend, so it's like,
could be. Okay, that's
Yes.
fair. I never did my challenge correctly. I just decided it was like another goal. Like one night I got the bartender's cowboy hat. The other night I was wing woman. So yeah, I like to change it up. But
I love
you
it.
never know what you were gonna come with.
This is so true. Yeah. Well, any parting thoughts, any parting feelings? I personally so appreciative of the girls here. It was an experiment. I've never done it before. They were very much willing to come on this trip and really lean in. And obviously they're most of the reason why this came to be. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys and I'm happy that we got through it.
Thank you, NK. Shout out to
For putting
NK
it
for
together.
putting all of this together. We wouldn't be here without you.
Thanks, guys. Hashtag Summer House IRL. If you want to see all our content, I mean, it's literally just flooding TikTok. Go look at the hashtag. I'll leave them in the description of the show notes if you want to go browse their content, go support them. We'll see you guys later.
See you next year.
I want to talk about my expectations versus reality of the week in the Hamptons. My expectations, I really just wanted to be in the Hamptons for an extended period of time and meet other girls who were like-minded and wanted to join the experience with me. Reality, I think that the trip went very well. I think it was a way for me to connect with new people and hoping that we all continue the friendship and just learn more about each other over time. Personally, for me, because of everything else going on during the week, i.e. me working, me filming stuff for brands, me coordinating the trip, me driving for half of the trip for where we were going, I felt like I didn't get to fully lean into learning about the girls to a very, very deep level. But I also have to realize like it was 1 week. That's not fully enough time to make those deeper connections. That really takes going beyond the trip and making sure that we're all reciprocating, reaching out to each other and making plans. Because yes, I put this out there and I think that the trip itself did go very well. I'm curious to see how months in the future will unfold and how our friendship grows. I wanted to quickly talk about content creator versus non-content creators on the trip. When I handpicked everybody, I really did want a range of people on this trip. A lot of people in my comments on TikTok while this series was starting jumped to conclusions and thought that I was only going to pick people with a really high following, bigger creators, which I did the exact opposite. I gave creators a chance that were newer, who weren't fully in the world to the extent that I am. And again, I've been doing this for 5 years, so I have seen a lot in this industry. I've seen the waves and I have really experienced a ton of different extremities, from getting hate on the internet to getting surges of followers to being stagnant in my growth for a while. But throughout all of it, I kept on deciding to post and I kept on saying yes to my dreams of wanting to make this a career. But I do want to talk about specifically that I put a lot of pressure on myself on this trip for a few reasons. One, this is my full-time job, which definitely added a layer that I know the other girls didn't experience to the same extent as me. When I picked the girls, I really did want it to be an opportunity for newer creators to get a firsthand look on filming, creating, editing in this specific environment. And I absolutely do not regret that decision. I would do that all over again because I know that everyone walked away with added value. We had a lot of really great conversations. We learned a lot about our vision and angles and lighting. We learned a lot about the fundamentals of content creation, and it was great to bounce ideas off of each other throughout the week. And then personally, I was focused on adding variety within the house, within the people who I chose. Everyone had a completely different background. We also learned that every single person was from a different place, which was very cool to learn about how everyone grew up. Everyone has a different job to some extent. So I focused on that rather than putting a bunch of girls in the house who had a ton of followers. The other component I want to touch on is going back to one of the pillars of Misunderstood, which is it is all about understanding ourselves, even if others misunderstand us. I will be honest and say, although I had an overall great trip, there were some feelings I felt that unfortunately maybe internalized, but I did also feel certain feelings that weren't so great. And that just led me to think not everyone is going to instantly vibe with me. I'm not going to instantly vibe with people. That doesn't make anyone a bad person. Everyone who was on the trip is an amazing person. I do stand by that. It's unfortunate that I felt certain feelings throughout the week, but it's really a if you know situation, and if you feel it situation. No one can tell you that how you feel is wrong just because they didn't experience it. And honestly, also with a house full of girls who, again, we literally just met each other, it's definitely normal to not mesh with everybody immediately. I will also say, just because I felt certain feelings this week doesn't detract from possibly being really good friends with some of the girls in the house later. We actually talked about on the trip how making friends, real, genuine, deep level friendships, is a slow burn. People who love bomb you, people who are really, really, really super nice, like too nice up front, that also deters me because I don't know how that will play out. And from experience, a lot of those don't work out so well. I know that everyone in the group has a good heart, and I know that there was no ill intent in any way, shape, or form. I personally also was just dealing with a lot outside of actually being on the trip, and dealing with that in tandem with literally being on this trip. There were a lot of different feelings that I was experiencing internally, teamed with what I was experiencing externally in the house. So overall, the experience was definitely worth it. I really enjoyed it. I have learned so much for next time, for a future trip. I know how to do things differently. I know things that I want to bring in and implement. It was all learning experience and a true social experiment to really see how something like this would play out. We obviously have to circle back to the goals. Back in episode 29, I did state 3 goals, 3 predictions that I wanted to achieve for Summer House IRL. Goal number 1 was get into Surf Lodge. Check. We did that. Goal number 2 was attending a summer house party while in our Hamptons house. Although that did not happen because they actually did not have a party during the weekend we were there. We were invited to a summer house party, which is so exciting, and you will just have to stay tuned on my socials to see in real time how that plays out. And goal number 3 was hit 40,000 followers on TikTok. I did not hit that. I would say I grew about 100 followers during the week of Summer House IRL with all the posts I did. Mind you, at this time of recording this podcast episode, there's so much content that I have not posted. And that was the other thing. Let's actually just unpack that. For me, it is extremely hard to be present and in the moment while at the same time trying to post on social media 10 billion times a day. It's very hard. And for me, it's quite unrealistic because at the end of the day, yes, there was things I was contractually obligated to do. And also for the branding of this whole trip, I did want to give the audience and give the people what I've been building up for 2 months. Those are all valid, but at the same time, this is still a trip and this is still my life, and I want to experience it in real time and not look back and say, I focused so much on the filming of it, I literally did not enjoy it. So to be honest, most of the week, I gave myself a lot of grace with posting and just decided to be in the moment. I did vlog, like I said, but see, that's what I love about YouTube and love about long form video is I can capture it and then put it away and live. And then when I'm back from the trip is when I edit it. Rather short form content, it is really in the moment. And in my opinion, maybe this is a hot take, but I think it takes away from the moment. So that's another big thing I learned about myself is it's really hard for me to juggle in real life and posting on the internet, especially on a trip like this, which there was so many moving parts. We were in and out of the house all day, and my social battery was on E for honestly half of the trip. So I was really trying to show up for myself, but also trying to show up for the team and our group. And I think I did the best I could. So I believe that because I wasn't posting as much, that reflects in not growing as much in the period of time of being in the house. However, it's okay. It's okay because I still have more content, but even outside of that, I will grow in the ways that I'm supposed to when I'm supposed to grow. My TikTok has grown very steadily for the first half of the page being my page, but then also I've seen huge spurts of growth in very short periods of time in the last year. All in all, I know that my follower count does not equate to my worth. And if you're a content creator listening to this, please hear me when I say that. Your follower account does not equate to your worth. We also talked about that as a group while we were driving back to the city. Follower count is a vanity metric, and that doesn't mean that you are any less of a creator, that you are any less talented or capable of having an audience. Your audience will come when you just really start just focusing on what you're producing, not the outcome of it. If you really focus on the content itself, everything else will follow. And yes, that is easier said than done. Yes, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm saying this with love, and I'm saying this from a place of long-standing experience because I've been there, done that. And lastly, would I do this again? I would do this again. I need a little bit more planning, and I think I also need to hire a few people for a few things. But this social experiment, I can say that it was a success, and I am already in talks about a trip like this for the fall. If you want to learn more about the upcoming trip experience, follow my TikTok and make sure to have post notifications on so that you are literally locked in when I post it. Because what happened with Summer House IRL, it was truly who responded first. And a lot of people, I really mean this, so many people messaged me weeks after and were like, oh, can I join? No, because that's not how it works. It really is a fast-paced thing. I can't just wait on everybody. I have to be putting things in motion very quickly. So if you really want to join the upcoming experience, you will be following my TikTok and you'll be staying up to date, and that'll be launching very soon. So I know I threw a lot at you guys with this whole experience. Trust me, I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. I've been traveling so much recently, and I'm ready to just be in New York City for a hot second. I think trips like these will teach you so much about yourself. It'll teach you so much about other people as well, but it will allow you to decide how you want to move through a situation, how you want to forge friendships, how you want to build your business, how you want to do a lot of things will really be brought to light if you decide to do an experience like this. I do not regret it. I am so happy that I did it. If you are on the fence and thinking about an experience like this, I really hope this episode helped in some way to maybe give you some comfort, maybe give you some inspiration that life is so short and we all need to be taking more risks. I think that's the overarching theme, taking risks. This was a whole risk. I literally put the entire house cost on my credit card and said, all right, NK, let's do this. Believe in yourself. Be brave. Good will come from this. There will be a story to tell, because I fully believe that when you put good energy out, good energy will inevitably come back to you. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Please remember to rate the podcast 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and follow it wherever you are listening. Remember to join our Geneva group chat. We are hosting a lot more New York City events in the next month. So if you want to meet people in real life who are part of this community, I highly recommend joining our Geneva group chat, which is linked in the description of every single episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in my next one.